Because you deserve it.
Did you get that on camera?
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Excuse me, I'm part West African.
You deserve
I can
it.
say this.
Gamers, today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest retards I've seen in quite some time. Literally someone who always has to make a narrative out of absolutely nothing. Like, I've seen this guy's tweets pop up on my Twitter feed every so often, and it's always some of the dumbest shit I think I've ever read, pushing narratives that literally don't even exist. And recently he went on the dumbest crusade I think I've seen in a very long time, given the context of the video game and what's happening. So based on that intro, and it's probably already going to be in the title, we're talking about Yorch Torch Games, and I'm sure this guy's popped up in your guys' feed as well, especially if you follow a lot of like gaming news and whatnot. And he's essentially like this massive right-wing grifter who, like I said, always has to make some sort of political position on games that literally have nothing to do with anything. Like, it can be the most well done, beautifully written game, and he'll somehow still try to push a narrative in it because I guess impressions are down, or he wants to somehow make him seem like he's, you know, this hardened conservative who always needs to stand up for gaming. The way I found out about this guy is because I was really excited for a little game called Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I played the first one, so obviously I pre-ordered the second one. And very quickly, it gained a lot of attraction and attention from the anti-woke crowd because there was a very optional, and I do mean very optional, side love interest between Henry, who is the main character, and Hans Capon. Now, again, I played 150 hours of the game, and I never actually came across this. It's pretty obvious when, you know, the text speech comes up that you can do a romance option. And I guess that really pissed a lot of people off. I don't really understand it, right? But at the end of the day, people are, you know, entitled to their own opinion. But the thing that really bugged me is people were trying to push a narrative like the game was failing or it wasn't successful whatsoever, even though it was extremely successful. And Yorch Torch Games was one of those people who just can't accept defeat when they try to push a narrative or go on some sort of crusade, as they put it, and they actually fail in their attempts. And it was getting to a point where he literally was spreading false information, showing Steam charts, saying how the game was failing or falling off when people were simply going to sleep. I'm sure when the game does eventually die off, because it's a single player game, he's probably going to make a post saying, guys, we won. We're very successful. The game successfully crashed and we won. It's just absolutely embarrassing at this point. You know, I feel like a game can have certain aspects of it that would be considered woke, but if it's well written and well done, I don't think many people care. And I think that's the big thing that does hold the whole like woke movement down, I guess, is the fact that they're not very good with making their point across. It seems really embarrassing, and it can come off as pushy, especially in games like Dragon Age the Velguard.
Thank you. So, I'm non-binary.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
But naturally, those games kind of fail because of it, right? Because no one really wants to get lectured to in a video game. But recently, he decided to go after a little game called Expedition 33. Now, I've obviously been putting many hours into that game recently. I was really interested in this game when it originally got announced. I'm a huge turn-based fan. You know, I pretty much grew up on Persona. So naturally, it caught my attention when I actually started playing it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's only made by about 30 developers. Not to mention, it's not even that expensive for an over 30-hour experience, which needs to be praised in this day and age. You know, this is absolutely amazing for a new studio. I heard these are a bunch of guys who left Ubisoft, so it's amazing that they're so successful in their most recent game. But somehow this absolute fucking dickhead found a way to complain about it. So he recently tweeted this out saying, "Gamers, the Expedition 33 reports are true." Now this comes off as way more serious than it actually is, starting it off by saying, "Guys, the reports are true. It's true. There's black people in the game." Like, I'm not even making that up. That is actually his argument, is because there's black people in this game. Right? Like, don't get me wrong. I think some anti-woke stuff is appropriate in certain situations, right? I think it's properly talked about in certain topics when it comes to gaming and whatever. But this is just getting ridiculous, right? Like, imagine complaining about a woman being in a game, or again, black people being in a video game, right? So he continues saying, "How does a game that opens with a sundered early 1900s Paris set to a beautiful French song end up with a town full of characters straight from south of midnight? It breaks the immersion. It disrespects European culture." Now, a little bit of context to this is Expedition 33 doesn't take place on Earth. It actually takes place in its own separate universe on an island called Lemire. It actually is not Paris whatsoever, even though they obviously did take inspiration from 1900s Paris and, the French era during that time with the music and the accents and the characters. But it does not actually take place in France. It's a whole separate universe with its own separate lore. And then to say that characters straight from South of Midnight is kind of crazy to say. He essentially is saying black people are in the intro. I don't know why he said it like that, because I guess South of Midnight recently failed, so he's trying to like cater to that anti-woke movement, I guess, or whatever. It's absolutely ridiculous how he's treating this game. And a lot of people brought up the hypocrisy of this guy in kind of his recent tweets, which we're going to get into. But this did get community noted, so I'm just going to read the community note, where it says, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 cannot functionally disrespect European culture because in itself is not set in France or Europe. It is a fantasy game set on the fictional isle of Lemur that merely draws inspiration from the French Belle Époque time period. His argument is saying during the 1900s there wasn't many black people in France, which I'm not like some sort of historical expert, and you really don't have to be in a situation like this because it's not France whatsoever. This is a guy who literally is trying to make something out of nothing, like at all. The game's absolutely beautiful and it's literally amazing. Like, I've only spent about 10 hours in the game and the story itself is enough for you guys to play it. I know a lot of people don't really like turn-based stuff. That's kind of a big controversy that's taken place with this game, is people are like, it would be so much better if it wasn't turn-based, even though I think turn-based does really well for a game like this. But I think it's actually amazing. I think everyone should give it a try. But apparently this guy has an issue with it. Imagine like sitting down, getting comfortable, ready to play this game because, based on his earlier tweets, it seemed like he was very excited for this game. And then just seeing a couple black people in a prologue pissed you off so much where you had to go on this massive crusade to go against the game. Right? It actually is so fundamentally stupid. Imagine being that pathetic, that angry all the time, where you sit down to play a fictional game and you see a single black person or a group of black people in a prologue. And by the way, spoilers, they don't stick around long. Okay, if you guys know, you know. But, they don't stick around long, and he's complaining about that. Now, to go back to what I said earlier, where it seems like he's kind of hypocritical with this game, is because he recently got caught tweeting stuff about Expedition 33, really praising it and saying how amazing it's going to be. He said, gamers, which one would you buy? Created by 3,000 feminist activists, which is Assassin's Creed Shadows, or created by 30 passionate gamers, Expedition 33. And you obviously have John. You can't put these two separate. They're dick to butt on every single post. If Yorch Torch posts something that's absolutely stupid, John is like right behind him. Like, they're like just boyfriends, dude. They're always got to be next to each other. John himself is a whole nother concept. I'm probably going to do a video about him. So John replies to this saying Expedition 33 all day long. And then we go to his recent tweet where he was talking about how, there's South of Midnight characters in Expedition 33, where John replies to that saying, oh no, they're erasing white people again. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It's not like as if you play as white characters throughout the entire game. It's actually kind of ridiculous how this game has beautiful women in it, right? It's a fun game. The storyline is absolutely amazing. There's no gender politics. There's nothing like that anti-woke crowd could be pissed off about. And they're somehow finding something to be pissed off about. And it's so funny seeing a situation like this because you have people in the anti-woke crowd praising this game, saying how pretty the girls are and how Western games need to follow the footsteps of these game developers. Yet you have another subsection of the anti-woke crowd who are bitching about a bunch of black guys being in the game. Now, I'm going to leave off with this tweet to really encapsulate this guy's personality. Male gamers only. Who would you play as? Choose your character. Gustav from Expedition 33 or Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. Both, in my personal opinion, are very strong characters. Right? Like, they're both very strong. Like, if you guys know Gustav in Expedition 33, the guy's a fucking animal. He's a beast. Right? He'll give up anything to protect his loved ones. And he has amazing character growth throughout the entire game. Like, he has some beautiful scenes. Right? And yet this guy's over here comparing him to Marcus Phoenix, who is also an amazing, well-written character. And he's trying to make some sort of divide. Like, Marcus Phoenix is the masculine version of both these characters, even though both of them are very strong characters who, in my personal opinion, both encapsulate the masculinity identity. Right? Like, this is just so fucking embarrassing, bro. Delete your Twitter. Get the fuck out of here. The gaming space does not need you, just like how it doesn't need the crazy woke people either. But anyways, that's about it. If you guys like this video, leave a like, subscribe. Also, if you guys want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description down below. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.